The unexpected guest. It was a cold, rainy Wednesday evening in November. Lisa was sitting in her small apartment in Utrecht, reading a book. Outside, the wind was howling through the streets, and heavy raindrops were tapping against the window. Lisa, wearing a thick sweater and with a steaming cup of tea beside her, was glad she didn't have to go outside. Her apartment was cozy and simple. A large bookshelf took up an entire wall, filled with novels, travel books, and old magazines. A few candles were burning on the coffee table, giving the room a warm glow. Lisa enjoyed these quiet moments. After a long day working in the bookstore, this was her way to relax. But her peaceful evening was suddenly interrupted by a soft knock on the front door. Lisa looked up from her book. Who could that be, at this time and in this weather? She slowly got up and walked to the door. She looked through the peephole and saw a young man in a wet coat and carrying a large backpack. He seemed chilled from the cold. Lisa opened the door a crack. "Good evening," she said hesitantly. "Can I help you?" The man smiled kindly, though he clearly looked tired. "Good evening," he said. "My name is Lucas. My car broke down, and my phone is dead. May I come in for a moment to warm up? I don't want to bother you." Lisa hesitated. It felt strange to let a stranger into her home, but something in his eyes reassured her. He seemed genuine. "Okay," she finally said. "Come in." Lucas stepped inside and shook the rain off his coat. "Thank you," he said. "The weather is really terrible." "I didn't expect this." Lisa pointed to a chair by the dining table. "Have a seat. Would you like something warm to drink?" "I have tea or coffee." "Tea, please," said Lucas with a grateful smile. As Lisa went to the kitchen to boil some water, Lucas looked around. The apartment was small but cozy, with many books and plants. "Do you work in a bookstore?" Lucas asked when Lisa returned with a cup of tea. Lisa nodded. "Yes, I've been working in a small bookstore nearby for 5 years. It's my dream job because I love reading." "And you? What do you do?" "I'm a history teacher," Lucas answered. "I work at a high school in Arnhem. But I had the week off, so I decided to camp for a few days in nature. Unfortunately, my car had other plans." Lisa laughed softly. "That's bad luck. Have you called for help?" Lucas shook his head. "My phone is dead, and I don't have a charger with me. I hope I can find someone tomorrow who can help." Lisa thought for a moment. "I might have an old power bank," she said. "Wait a second." She walked to her bedroom and searched through a drawer. After a few minutes, she found the power bank and handed it to Lucas. "Thank you," he said. "You're really a lifesaver." While the phone slowly charged, Lisa and Lucas began talking. They discovered that they had a lot in common. They both loved traveling and were passionate about reading. Lisa told him about her favorite books, and Lucas shared stories about his travels to historical places in Europe. "What's the most beautiful place you've ever been?" Lisa asked curiously. "That's a tough question," Lucas replied. "But I think I'd say Rome. The history there is so vivid. Everywhere you look, you see traces of the past." The hours flew by. It was still raining heavily outside, and it felt as if the world had come to a standstill in Lisa's warm apartment. Around 10 o'clock, Lucas glanced at the clock. "I'm sorry I've stayed so long," he said. "I don't want to be a bother." "You're not a bother at all," Lisa said with a smile. "Would you like to stay the night?" It's far too bad out there to go outside. Lucas looked at her in surprise. That's very kind of you, but I really don't want to disturb you. No problem, Lisa said firmly. I have a guest room. It's not big, but you can sleep just fine. After a brief hesitation, Lucas accepted the offer. Lisa made the guest room ready with clean sheets and an extra blanket. Sleep well, she said as Lucas went to the room. The next morning, the sun was shining through the curtains. The bad weather was over. Lucas got up early and found Lisa in the kitchen, making breakfast. Good morning, she said. I have bread, coffee, and some fruit. Would you like something before you leave? That would be great, said Lucas. During breakfast, he thanked her again for her hospitality. You really helped me. I don't know what I would have done without you. Lisa smiled. It was nice to have a guest. Maybe we'll see each other again. When Lucas left, Lisa felt good. It was special to help someone in an unexpected situation. She thought about Lucas for a long time and smiled every time she remembered that evening.